There is something incredibly touching about the way the Danish royal couple manages to maintain a balance between their official duties and their personal life. And a recent day in November became a wonderful confirmation that even on a royal throne, one can remain simply human, valuing friendship and close relationships. While King Frederik went off to the traditional royal hunt in Gribskov, Queen Mary organized something truly special for the wives and friends of the hunters, an elegant ladies' excursion that revealed a lot not only about Danish history, but also about the Queen herself. What struck me in this story was the attention to detail and the warmth with which everything was arranged. The Wednesday morning began for all the guests at Frederiksborg Palace, where they had spent the night, and then they set off on a journey where every minute was planned with the guests' comfort in mind. Around 10 o'clock in the morning, the bus with the Queen and her friends arrived at Frederiksborg Castle in Hillerød, and that was where the real celebration for the soul began. The elegant Baroque garden made an unforgettable impression on everyone, and the Queen herself could not resist capturing its beauty in photographs. These pictures later appeared on the social media of the royal household, and I must say that they do not feel like professional stage shots, but rather like images filled with genuine interest in the admiration of someone who knows how to notice beauty. Then the group headed to the romantic landscape park where Badstueslottet is located, a small pleasure palace usually closed to the public, but used by the royal family for hunting luncheons. The history of this place is fascinating in its own right. The palace was rebuilt and furnished in the 19th century by King Frederik VII, and next to it lies Louise's Island on the pond, named after Louise Rasmussen, better known as Countess Danner, the wife of Frederik VII. On the island stands a wooden cottage, a miniature copy of a Norwegian estate. The island is usually inaccessible to visitors, but fortune smiled upon the Queen and her guests. Restoration work on the cottage happened to be underway at the time, and a temporary bridge had been built to the island, so the ladies were able to visit this artificial island and touch a piece of history.
And this brings us to what makes the story truly interesting. The choice of place was not random. Queen Mary has a particular interest in the history of Countess Danner, and it is not simply idle curiosity from a monarch toward historical figures. It is a deep personal connection to the fate of a woman who traveled an unbelievable path from the daughter of a poor maid to the spouse of the last absolute monarch of Denmark. After spending about 1 hour in the sunlit park, the royal company headed into the castle itself, where they had the chance to explore the many museum exhibitions in detail. Queen Mary has repeatedly highlighted the charitable work of the Countess, noting that she chose to direct the enormous funds she inherited after the death of Frederick VII toward establishing 2 foundations, one dedicated to ensuring a decent childhood for orphaned children, and another to help poor female servants in their old age. At the opening of the exhibition, the Queen admitted that when she was first presented with the idea of creating an exhibition about Countess Danner several years earlier, she was captivated immediately. She had heard about the Countess in different contexts, but only by delving into her story did she realize how remarkable this woman's life had been. The Queen explained then that she followed the creation of the exhibition very closely, and as the work progressed, she only became more and more fascinated by this outstanding historical figure. And there is something deeply symbolic about this. An Australian by birth who became the Queen of Denmark finds inspiration in the story of a simple Danish woman who rose to the highest rank in society. In a way, both women followed the path of an outsider. Both proved that origin does not define destiny, and that character and dignity matter more than lineage.
Meanwhile, while the ladies enjoyed their cultural program, King Frederik was carrying out the royal hunt in Gribskov. And here it is interesting to note a particular feature of this event. The history of royal hunts goes back to the 17th century, when Danish kings began using large forest areas as royal hunting grounds. Back then, invitations were extended mainly to members of old noble and land-owning families and to other distinguished individuals connected to the royal household. Today, representatives of official Denmark are usually invited, but the hunt in Gribskov has preserved a more personal character. It is an event for the closest circle of friends of the royal couple. Queen Mary shared wonderful photographs from her walk in the castle park on the social media of the royal household, and the pictures radiate genuine joy. These are not posed official photographs. They are living, heartfelt images that capture the beauty of nature and architecture through the eyes of someone who is sincerely moved by what she sees. And it seems to me that it is in such moments that the true essence of modern monarchy reveals itself. It is not a distant authority living by rigid rules of the past, but real people with warm hearts, people who know how to appreciate beauty, friendship, and history. The way the royal couple organizes such events shows their understanding that being a monarch is not only about official ceremonies and matters of state, but also about the ability to build and maintain human connections, to share joy with the people close to you, to find time for things that enrich the soul. And in this, if you think about it, lies the true wisdom of ruling, not to forget about the human side while carrying the weight of the crown.